if you want to change any area of your life or just like massively change your life, it's the two things that kept repeating for me as I went through all these different transformations. And I want to tell you about it because I think that they're really, really important to know, because it's going to help you not feel bad about changing, because sometimes we can like go to change and then we feel bad for changing. It's this weird thing that happens. And two, you'll see this happen. You'll learn this today. And then as you go to change something or change your life, you'll see these things happening and you'll be like, oh yeah, Shauna told me to do that. Shauna told me this was going to happen, or this is what I want to look for if I want to massively change my life. And I called it massively change my life, but it doesn't have to be massive. This could be a really small change. This could be a little tiny, tiny habit, or this could be a massive revamp of who you are as a human being. Hi, Maddie. So feel free to join me in the conversation, ask for anything, but I just want to give you a brief overview of my like transformational changes and how vastly different they are. And I just want to show you, because all of them had these two patterns in them. So it doesn't matter what the change is, because you'll see that all of mine were different, but they all still had these two things that happened first. That if they didn't happen first, the change didn't happen. And so like my spiritual awakening in 2011 was like, changed my life so massively. I started learning about ancient cultures and how they knew things that we just started to discover. I started learning about sacred geometry and ancient cultures. I started learning about the science of spirituality, right? And I just, everything that I knew, that was like 2000, right before 2012, when the Mayan calendar thing was happening. You guys remember that? Just my whole world got like twisted and changed, and my perspective just shifted in a matter of a couple months. So that was one, which is like the big spiritual awakening, right? Spiritual awakening, which I think a lot of us have gone through. Second one was 2012, where I was introduced to personal development. So that was like a big shift that transformationally changed my life. And then like 2015, I got sick and almost died, which is like, see, these are all way different. 2015, I got sick and almost died twice. Had to change my life again, did a 180 for my diet, my relationships, my thoughts, my emotions, all of the things. And then we moved to like 2016, I started a business, which is a little more like 3D realm. And then now like coronavirus. Coronavirus happens and we all get to like change how we're thinking about the world, because we see that things can just shift. And so throughout all of these points in my life and many others, I kept seeing these two things. As I look back, I see this pattern and this feedback of these two things that come up that support me in the shift, right? So whatever your shift is, whether it's business, personal, spiritual, hi everyone, these two things are going to support you. And the first one, okay, so if you want to make a change, massive or small, in any area of your life or your whole life, we get to first look at it and realize that we don't actually know shit. Like, let's just release the ego for a second and see that, okay, I want change in this area or these areas. Therefore, what I must be thinking about these areas gets to shift. Therefore, I get to just stop thinking that I know anything about them and go in with curiosity and see how you actually get to unlearn all of the things that you thought you knew about that area. The first example that comes to my mind is food. I got to unlearn all the food and nutrition stuff. I got to unlearn it and I got to reintegrate the new information. And so if I was stern and I had this very closed mind and I wasn't open to the fact that there was information out there that I didn't know, which there's so many of us that are like that or know people like that. If I was rigid in my mental state, and if I was rigid in the information, I wouldn't have shifted, because I wouldn't allow anything back in, because I wouldn't allow myself to be wrong, you know? And so many of us here are leaders, like we get to allow ourselves to be wrong. We get to see that maybe we actually don't know things that we think that we know. So that's number one, is allow your paradigm to just shatter. Allow it to shatter. I don't know if you guys are into like these things, but this shit will shatter the paradigm that you thought that was real about life. So go into the thing you want to change, knowing that you don't know anything. Just go in like you're a little baby newborn and relearn it all. The second pattern, let me know if that makes sense. The second pattern that I see making massive change is it goes along with the first one. So we realize that we don't know all the things, and we realize that there's more to be learned, and we realize that we were doing it wrong along the way, or I could say that we were doing it ineffectively to get the change that we want to see. We realize this, and we screw it up if we decide to make ourselves feel bad for being wrong. We throw it out of the window, because when we make ourselves feel bad for feeling wrong, then we just put ourselves in a closed-minded state. Whereas seeing the opportunity to shift. So we get to feel empowered, excuse me, we get to feel empowered in the fact that we're learning and taking in more information and taking in more feedback and choosing to expand. There's nothing wrong about that. So if you go to change an aspect of your life, if you go to change your spiritual beliefs, if you go to change your self-expression, and you see how you've been doing these ineffective things for years, that's okay. Those things like helped you get here to see that you wanted to shift. And so allowing ourselves to not have this cognitive dissonance of, okay, this doesn't match my beliefs, therefore it can't be true. That's like cognitive dissonance, right? When something is so different from what we know that we just sort of block it off and just like forget and ignore it and forget that it's there. We don't want that when we want to change something. We don't want that when we want to massively change something. And so going in knowing that we are good and not feeling bad for not knowing what we didn't know. Pair that, like self-love, if you want to get real fundamental with it, pair that with just going in and allowing and searching how to shatter your current paradigm, going in knowing that you don't know shit, will change. You will take that process of a quantum leap way quicker. Because you can unlearn and you can relearn. You can unlearn because you're open to being wrong. And you can relearn because you have already decided that you think that you don't know anything. Yes, changing my mindset around making mistakes has really cut back on the shame and helped me move forward faster. It's good to make mistakes. It's good to be wrong. Yeah, Terry's totally right. And I think that, like, to add to that is I think that, like, sometimes when we think we might have been wrong, we actually weren't wrong. That was just how we survived in the moment. Like, I've been through some pretty massive trauma. And if I look back, things could have gone way different if I would have responded differently. Things could have gone way different if I would have responded differently. And so when we look back and we have the bird's eye view of our past, and we look back to reflect on our old decisions, like, we can call them wrong, but if that feels weird for you, you get to just realize that they were perfect for that moment. There was nothing, they helped you survive, they helped you get to where you're at right now, and then now you just no longer want to identify with that, so you move on. It's like I no longer want to identify as a fifth grader. Like, fifth grade was cool. It helped me survive, but I also am not one anymore. So why take that forward with me? Yeah. Any other questions? Excuse me, I'm going to put this down. I think this is really perfect for right now with the virus, because I feel so lucky because so many women are coming to me wanting support and mentorship in this time of crisis. And it's so empowering that people are taking this time to dive in and develop themselves. And so if you take these simple two steps and take them into the smallest minute areas of your habits, or to the big macro version of who you are as a human being, realizing that you don't know shit and realizing that that's okay, like, you will expand beyond measure quickly, because you get to learn and you get to integrate with curiosity and awe, not fear and force. Just tuned in. Hi, Todd. Todd, I think you kind of missed the meat of this, but I was talking about how if we want to change things, we get to learn that we don't know anything. And we get to learn that that's okay and not make ourselves feel wrong for not knowing. I wish I could like pull up an example of something that I felt really wrong for thinking that I knew something correct that wasn't. And you know, food just always comes up with me because that was such a massive shift in my life after I got the autoimmune diagnosis. Like sugar, right? We all know sugar is like not the best, but until I realized that I didn't actually know why it wasn't good, I didn't actually know fundamentally what it was doing to my body, I didn't actually know how I was speaking to myself when I was eating it. Like, if there was a while that I was sad that I used sugar as a crutch that I did, as well as other foods, and not even food, other things. Todd, replying to Todd, absolutely no shame involved. No shame. Shame is like the lowest level emotion that we can have. It can serve us. It can serve us because we realize that we don't want it, right? And so we get to calibrate to these higher level emotions. And along our path of transformation and along our path of change, we get to be happy that we're changing. If we can't enjoy the process of changing, well, I'm sorry, you can't really enjoy life that way because it's all just a process to begin with anyways. It's all just a process. Everything is. Even a quantum leap has a process. This is the duality of the unity of consciousness. This is just like the thing, is if we can't enjoy the process and we can't enjoy life. And so this is all about enjoying the process of expansion. Because you might change your mind 5 months later and realize that the thing that you thought you needed to learn was not the thing that you wanted to learn. And you'll restart the process all over again to evolve into an even more complex, better version of yourself because you have the experience to back up what you want and don't want. It's like Abraham Hicks talks about this all the time. Like, it's the contrast. We learn from contrast, right? Meaning and awareness of what we have yet to learn. Yes, it gets to be fun. It gets to be like so fun and curious and like, ooh, like just be hungry for it, you know? And take what serves you and leave the rest. So that is my message for you today. I wanted to keep this short so I could put it on Instagram TV. Damn it, 13 minutes. Just to if there's no other questions, just to like bring it back. Let me breathe. I'm like, really, this means so much to me that I speak about these things and I don't breathe because I have all of these thoughts that I just want to get out from my own experience. To circle back, if you want to make a change in your life, no matter what the size, I can't tell you this enough. If you want to make a change, no matter what the size, go in just deciding that you know nothing. Just decide that you know nothing and let your paradigm of that subject shift. And inside of that shift and inside of that paradigm and the defragmentation of your mental construct of this thing that you want to change, inside of that, just feel okay figuring out that you might not have been doing it as effectively along the way. And like, what an awesome opportunity, because now you know how to do it effectively and you can integrate that into your daily life and embody the personality that you actually want. So this all gets to be good. It is all good. And you will experience emotions along the process, and that is all good too. It's duality empowered. Both. We use both to grow. We use all of the shadow and all of the light to move. It gives us context. Okay. Love you guys. I will talk to you very, very soon.